welcome. We gave a little introduction in there on the ranch roping and the different divisions and classes, and now we're going to go through a series of videos on groundwork phase 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of these score sheets, it is a 100-point score, and there's 10 points on different components. And that's one of the things I see in a lot of the rodeo events, is it's strictly time. So we have kids going really fast and really incorrect. So like here, it's a 100-point score, and there's only 10 points on actually catching. So the focus of all of these is the other 9 things that you need to do in order to be able to catch. So starting off with kids on the roping, on the groundwork, and I say kids, it's beginners. At any age, at any level, the fundamental skills are the same regardless of what age you're at. I'll go through on a head dummy and on a heel dummy, just sitting right on a sawhorse right here. And I like to take the kids and put them on a sawhorse when they're roping the dummy, because if you're not careful, a person can develop a lot of incorrect dummy, roping a dummy on foot that doesn't necessarily transition over to the back. And the other thing, it gives me an opportunity to teach kids a lot of where the tail goes, how to hold your reins, all those fundamental things. So to start off with heeling, we have the kids just sit down and we'll hand them a rope and they'll grab their reins. Depending on your reins, they could be split reins, they could be roping reins, they could be romal reins, and each of them you might do a little bit different. If it was split reins, I like to have both of the loose ends on this side, so when I'm building my loop, I'm not catching my loop. So I'd put both of those over there. You want the tail of your loop on this side, so that's a big thing. We'll give the loop to the kids, and this will be the first off is just getting everything gathered up. And then on roping, one of the things that we really try to instill in beginners, whether it's kids or adult, is a good swing. So much of your battle is a good swing. So that'll be on the roping part, the swing, delivery, and follow through. But 10 points is on just your horsemanship. So as they go up here, there's 10 points just on this hand, the left hand. See, a lot of kids, when they go to rope, they get in the habit of going like this, throwing, and they're turning their horse's head. So that's one of the things we instill into beginners right off the bat, is to keep your horse in position. So 10 points is on riding my horse in there. So one of the things I like to think about when I'm putting a horse in position, okay, I'm going to lead with this shoulder. I actually put a little bit more weight in my left stirrup here as I'm driving up there, and that'll help bring my horse in position. Not only does that help put my horse in position, but it also gives me more power in my swing when I go to throw. Okay, so that's one of the things we don't want to do, is get to leading with our bottom strand and bending down over here. If I'm swinging over here, that does 2 things, and I'm leading. I have my rope that's coming near my horse's head that's kicking him the other way, and I have my weight over here. So I have my weight and my rope that is pushing the horse the other way. So I want my weight over here, and then I want my swing going right over his back. So I'm going to put my horse in position. So I talk about just the horsemanship right now, that 10-point score. So I have my hand forward and kick. I want those kids to practice just kicking and getting their horse in position. So hand forward kick. When they throw, this hand, I want it to come up. So when this hand comes down, this hand comes straight up to stop your horse. Okay, then I need to bring my hand up here to dally. Okay, and then they can stop their horse there. Okay, what I really want to avoid not having kids do is doing this. When they get up there, they'll swing, and then they go like that, and they put the coils over here so they can turn to dally. And every kid, every beginner, that's what they always do, is their coils are here, and they go like that, and that turns their horse. So that's on the horsemanship part. So hand forward, kick, stop straight, and then dally, okay? And part of the dally, Brogan, can you pull that dummy for me, please? Okay, so on the dally, so they climb forward, they kick, they stop straight, they'll bring the trap down there. That wasn't a very good trap. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, pull it there. So I'll go like this, and I'll have those kids practice letting that rope slide through their hand when they dally. Because that's a common problem. You can hold it there. You can go ahead and pull it again. That's a problem. They'll dally, and they'll get a hold of them. Here, stop for a second. They'll practice roping the dummy. Well, they don't practice catching and actually having rope come through their hand. So what happens is they'll actually rope a live animal. They'll go like this, and they'll grab a hold of it, go ahead and start pulling it. Then they try to pull the entire calf back through their hand, and that's when they burn their hand. So I'll practice having that dummy get pulled and letting it slip through their hand as they're keeping their horse straight. they're letting it slide through their hand and they're dallying. Okay, so we'll have the kids practice doing that. Okay, so all of that is just on the horsemanship component. You take that off, put the dummy back. Okay, so the next part of the score is on the swing, delivery, and follow through. Okay, so we'll position it to where my horse's head is right on that left hip. On the swing, I want my top strand going to the target. So as I go to swing here, I'm going to lead with that top strand, and I want the top strand of my loop going right to my target. What I don't want to do is lead with my bottom strand, to lead like this. I don't want my rope vertical, I want it horizontal. So here's my swing. I get a nice open round swing, pushing that top strand over the cow's back. Okay, I'm riding my horse in position, that's my swing. My delivery is I want to break the top strand right on the hock. Okay, so there's the swing. Delivery is breaking the top strand on the hock. And part of my delivery, I'm swinging and I want my hand to do exactly what I want my loop to do. So I'm swinging, I'm going to go just like that. My top strand is my top finger. I want to break it on the hock and I want to get that tip all the way through to rope that left leg. So there's my swing. My delivery, I'll over-exaggerate it. I'm going to break that top strand on the hock. I'm going to get that tip to come all the way out the outside. So there was a good swing. My delivery got all the way through. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about follow through. We talked about swing. We talked about delivery. Swing is the tip matching the target. My delivery is my top strand hitting the hock and the tip coming all the way through. Now we're going to talk about follow through, which is my pinky in the dirt or my palm face back. With my top strand, I get the tip all the way through. With my bottom strand, I want to sit it down in front of that calf's feet. So I'm swinging, I'm leading, I'm riding my horse in position, I'm swinging over the back. I'm going to break that top strand over the hock, and see, I'm going to set that bottom strand right down in front of his feet. Okay, so there's my swing, delivery, and follow through. Okay, I'll kind of tie it all together right here. Okay, riding, kicking my horse in position, swinging over the top. Got the top strand going over his back, okay? My delivery is the top strand breaking it over the hock. Follow through is I want to set that bottom strand down in front. Go ahead and give me a handle. Have him jump out of there. Okay, he'll come through there. I'll bring my hand straight up. Go ahead, I'll let it slide through my hand. Keep my horse straight and dally. Okay, so that's basically the muscle memory that we want to instill in young kids in the groundwork before they ever get on a horse. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to go through heading and just setting some basic foundations on the groundwork of heading. So we'd have everything here for the kids. Kids will come up there, they'll grab their reins, get on their horse here, they'll have their rope. I want them to practice getting their reins straight. Whatever that looks like, if it's split reins or whatever it is, to have them straight. Practice putting the tail of their loop over here. Practice getting their coil straight. Grab their stirrups if their stirrups are long enough. Okay, then the same thing. When they come up there, I want them leading with their left shoulder, horsemanship. I want them thinking about number one is riding my horse in position. It's like Tyler Magnet says, position your horse, then place your loop. One of the biggest problems people have is they ride and rope. They're riding up here and they're thinking of riding and roping instead of position and placing. And anytime we get to leaning over here, we're pushing our horse the opposite direction. So I want to think, what I tell all my students in this program is horsemanship, stockmanship, and then roping. So I want to position my horse to influence the stock to where I can have a good consistent shot, okay? So I'm going to ride in position, I'm going to lead with my left shoulder. That helps put my horse in position, but then it also gives me power in my swing. Okay, so same thing, I have my swing, which I want a nice round open swing. Same thing, I want my tip pointed to my target. My top strand needs to be pointing to my target. Okay, so there's my swing. Then with my delivery, okay, I want to think about throwing through the back of his head. And if I have a good swing and I have a good delivery and I throw through the back of his head, I'll have a curl, a figure eight will come back, okay? So those are the three things we're looking for, is swing, delivery, follow through that curl, and then dallying, the same thing on the heels, okay? So I'm gonna lead with my shoulder, get my horse in position, get a nice round swing, throw through the back of his head, pull my slack back here. Now normally I'd have a horse and I'd have some distance here, okay? But here I'm going to come back here. I'll come right back to my horn. I'm keeping my horse straight. Okay? And I'll dally like that. Okay? This next time when I'll throw, I'll have lovely lady here pull her forward, and we'll have the kids practice sliding that through, having your horse draw back and go to the horn here. Okay, so same thing here. Have my coil straight. Going to lead with my left shoulder, offset my shoulder so I have power in my swing. As Tyler Magnus says, if you're throwing a baseball, there's no pitcher that stands up there and throws a pitch like that. They lead with their left shoulder, and that's where the power comes from. So I want to offset my shoulders here, okay? Ride my horse in position. My tip, my swing is matching his horse. It's nice and round, okay? I'm going to be looking there. I'm going to throw through the back of his head. Okay, she pulls him up there. I'm going to slide back here to my horn, keep my horse straight to set him, and then I turn and set him that way. But those are just the fundamental things that we'll be practicing on the groundwork for heading.